Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Aaron coming to you with another highlights video from my YouTube channel. This time for 4-Hex, or 4x 4-Hex, a LitRPG series, a strategy series. Let's read the description before we get into the highlights. One man dominates Avila. Another must take him down or die. Bilda, FHO, a smart town, has the biggest civilization in Avila. He brings in billions in ad revenues, sponsored by Texatron. Auto Air, the cheapest deals on the best air cars, or pull the lever at the high summer hangings, courtesy of Bluebird Neon. Perhaps you'd like to sponsor a battle and ride with the fiercest creatures, or hire a bard and seduce a princess. Everything and anything has a price tag in Bilda's empire. Revenue is king, and coincidentally, so is Bilda. So when Bilda demands his agents take a cut in their percentage, it's not well received, especially since they made him what he is. A bet is made. A plan is hatched. Now one man is tasked with building a civilization from nothing, one that must rival Bilda's, and he'll be thrown back to the slums he came from, where he's not particularly welcome, to put it mildly. Oh, he's got 6 months to do it. If you've ever wondered what would happen if LitRPG and Trading Places met, then you're a little odd, but the answer is 4x 4-Hex. Mild cursing, no frolicking, but turn-based fighting. Yes, you heard that right. 4x 4-Hex brings turn-based fighting to your listening device. Experience the true horror of what it's like to stand there and wait for your opponent to strike. So that's the entire description, and honestly, it's cheeky, it's funny, and the entire book, the entire story has that attitude. Yeah, it does. It just has that attitude, and it's really fun. So that brings me to my 5 highlights. Still getting used to the camera again. Sorry, guys. 5 highlights. One is the author and narrator are both on my always read list. Jack Veraces is, as always, top-notch, and as the author Ember Lane calls him, a funny bastard. I very much agree with this. He brings kind of a cheeky flair to what is already a cheeky story. All right, and that brings me to my second highlight. The story is highly unique in many ways. It's set in a mildly dystopian future, well, not really mildly, a very dystopian future, in a game that is focused on civilization building with lots of crafting and town building, where combat is turn-based. The turn-based thing initially made me balk. I don't really like that kind of thing. I don't like turn-based combat in general, which is why I've always struggled to enjoy the Final Fantasy series. But Ember Lane does such a good job incorporating into the story. It honestly feels almost natural, turning something that normally put me off into a unique and interesting aspect of the story that personally I ended up actually really enjoying. That brings me to my third highlight, which is the main character is kind of a street rat guy who's always worked with his hands and tried to keep his head down in a gang and mafia-infested part of town. One day, he is brutally attacked by a mafioso's men for just having a friend that might have told him something that might have gotten the mafioso in trouble. And he ends up being used as a tool in a bet by 2 sickeningly rich dudes who both want the same office. It's just the main character, the fact that he kind of goes with this and he kind of rolls with the punches really sets him aside, in my opinion, from a lot of MCs. A lot of MCs will rage, or they'll fight, or they'll find a way to get around or out of it. He just, you know what, fine, I'll just embrace this. I'll keep my head down, I'll do the work, I'll do my best. And he does. He seems a little naive, honestly, at times. But then you remember, wait a minute, he's not naive. He's been through the crapper. And he's just kind of trying to use this as best he can as things go. And those kind of little reality checks happen throughout the book. And they're really kind of breaths of fresh air and really useful. Kind of regrounding who the character is. Brings me up to 4. Honestly, the entire thing sounds completely absurd. The entire premise of this book sounds absurd when you say it out loud. But Ember and Jack both do an amazing job at making the absurd believable. And that's a bit astonishing, to tell you the truth. You end up caring about the stupid bet that these two rich brothers make. Excuse me. You end up caring about the goings-on in this small forest valley. Ember and Jack take the absurd and do a masterful job at making it interesting. Bringing me to 5, which is the crafting and town building are believable and interesting with a unique card system that supposedly stems from Olivia, the game, from when it started out as a board game. Honestly, the entire game system, how players interact with it, and the world building in general, both in and out of the game, are just top-notch. A little bit like some other books I've recently reviewed or recently done highlights for. This one is very unique, very interesting. All right, well, those are my 5 highlights. Thank you for the support. Please check out 4x4hex using the link below. If you would like to support me in making more of these videos, please subscribe, like, and consider joining my Patreon to help me make more of these videos. Thank you all, and I'll see y'all later.